But at the end of the day, they don't know your purpose. We go to our family, that's great. They more than likely still don't know your purpose. We talk to our friends, and that's great, but most of them still don't know your purpose. And we never consider God. And then the moment you mention God, you get all of this pushback, and people are like, we don't want to bring faith or spirituality into the conversation. And the reality is that you're not going to have any success in your life, period, without a spiritual foundation. And I think that's one of the missing ingredients and links for so many people in the world today. They don't want to hear anything about faith or spirituality, and yet they're searching, and they're going to search, and they're going to be 70 and 80 years old and still not knowing what their purpose or destiny is, and not really living a life of intentionality and purpose. And so I could go on a whole spiel about that, but I'm not. But I would encourage you to do something. I did an interview recently for the Ugly Truth About Business podcast with my dear friend and brother, Steve Harris, and we had a conversation that was just amazing. I believe it's one of the best interviews I've ever done, and one of the things that I love about this interview is I got to talk about faith. Some platforms don't want to hear about faith as pushback, but I had the opportunity to really delve into faith and the central role that it has played in our life. And one of the things that I want people to understand and realize is that the one that created you knows what you contain. And so many times we're looking outside of ourselves. We're looking to people that don't know who they are to tell us who we are, and it's just not going to work. And so in order for you to really discover who you are, you have to have a conversation with the one that created you. And if you will really tap into that divine conversation, there is creativity, there's ideas, there is clarity of purpose that will come to your life in a way that you would not even begin to believe it. And so I believe that that is one of the missing links, to why so many people are not living in alignment. And then the other piece to that, you've heard me say that on this podcast many times, is that most people don't have a clear sense of vision. The scriptures say where there is no vision, where there is no prophetic insight or utterance, the people cast off restraints and run wild. The problem with the world today is not that people are products of their environments, not that they are prisoners to their conditions or captives to their circumstances. What we have is a generation of people that have no vision for their lives. And because they have no vision for their lives, they are living a very mediocre and subpar existence that is much lower than they were intended to live. And what they don't realize is that when you don't have a sense of vision and direction for your life, you become the subject of other people's vision. You become the facilitator of other people's dreams and plans and projects because you don't have a clear vision for your life. And so what I would encourage people to do is get off of everybody's timeline and get on your own timeline and begin to create a vision for your life, script a vision. When we started out this year on this podcast, I told you to begin to write out your vision in key areas for the year because you have to know where you are going. And if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And that's the problem. Any road will get you there. And when you don't have a vision, the destination is always nowhere. You're not going anywhere because you have not laid out a plan and a track for where you want to go with your life. And so you got to get a vision. There are too many people that are winging it through life. And I'm not just talking about teenagers and young people because we always want to put the emphasis on young people. And everybody knows I love young people. I'm still a young person. So we're not going to just write off the next generation because a lot of young people have more vision than a lot of older people. I'm talking to everybody. There are people in their 50s and 40s and 60s that still don't really have a vision for their lives or know what they're doing or where they're going. And so I don't want that to be the case for you. I want you to get clear and take the time to write a vision. Stop saying your vision is in your head. You will never accomplish what you commit to memory. You will accomplish what you commit to priority. And so I always tell people, get your vision out of your head and get your vision down on paper and begin to put the action steps in place that will make that vision a reality. It's not going to happen because it's just in your head. You got to see that thing. There is a law of documentation. What we get in, we're empowered to get done. What we document, we're empowered to accomplish. You got to see that thing before you. Your goals got to stay before you. You can't just talk about your goals in January. You got to keep them. I'm always looking at my goals. I'm looking over them. I'm revising them. I'm editing them. This year's been so awesome. So many have been accomplished that I've added to them. Some people would say you should just be on cruise control, but anybody knows me, I'm not on cruise control. If we've accomplished those, we set bigger goals. We set higher goals and intentions, and we go after them. And so anybody that is doing anything of significance in the world, I guarantee you they have a vision. I guarantee you they didn't just wake up one day and success just happened in their lives. If they're succeeding, it's because they took the time to write a vision, get clarity, and set certain things in motion concerning their lives. And here we are, and I haven't even delved into this yet. You know, when I talk about vision, I get passionate. So many people in the world today desire success. However, they fail to realize that you cannot create a life of success when you're out of sync. A lot of people like Jamel, I don't get it. It just seems like my life is not working. I'm not making the progress I want to see. I'm not accomplishing the goals that I want to accomplish. What is the problem in my life? And the problem for so many people is that they're out of sync. It does no good to have a great dream or vision or aspiration of all these things that you want to do with your life if you don't have a clear sense of vision and intention of where you're going with your life. Your life is ultimately one big operating system. I look at life as one big operating system, and every human being on this planet, has a pace and has a race. So let me back up for a minute. Your life is ultimately one big operating system. Everybody knows about a computer, whether you have a PC or a Mac. You know that there is an operating system, and that operating system is the engine that drives the functionality of that machine. And so your life is an operating system. And when you don't understand the operating system of your life cannot function to the level that it was intended to function. And so I want you to understand, and we talked about that on this podcast as well, sometimes you have to do a reset on your life. You have to reset your life, and you have to begin to once again determine the direction, the scope, the breadth, the width of your life and what it is that you're endeavoring to do. And so your life cannot operate properly if your systems are not operating properly. And so life systems are so important. I don't have time to delve into that. If you want to know more about life systems, you can reach out to our website, and I can talk to you about it from there. But you got to have the proper systems in place in your life if you want success, if you want things to flow and to function the way that they were intended to function. Every human being on this planet has a pace and a race. Let me say that again. Every human being on this planet has a pace and a race. In other words, everyone has a lane and a rhythm to their lives. I always tell people to find your lane and find the rhythm to your life. You know, a lot of people contact me. I probably get a couple thousand emails a day, brands, organizations, different things that want to work with me or connect with me. And the reality is that a lot of things I just say no to. You know why? Because it's not my lane. And if something is not your lane, you have to have the ability to say no. See, so many of us are jacks of all trades and masters of none. Anybody that knows me knows that I have a great emphasis and thrust in my life on personal mastery. I'm not trying to be great at everything. I'm trying to be great at one thing. One thing I know, and one thing people will tell you about me, is that I'm going to focus on my one thing. I know that my purpose on this planet is to empower individuals to fulfill purpose, to realize their greatest potential, to unlock their capacity for greatness, and to make a meaningful contribution in the world. My purpose in this world is not to be in aviation. It is not to be in the scientific world. It is not to be in medicine. You have to be very clear. This is why you got to know what your purpose is and what your vision is, because I see people spreading themselves so thin in so many areas and they're not conquering anything. I always tell people I don't have a desire to be a generalist.